Did NBC already?
Oh, they might already have their press release.
Yeah, NBC already did it with the number and everything.
Okay, everyone, we're going to get started. We wanted to wait till 5.00 since it's being broadcast all over the world, and the news actually is pretty exciting all over the world. So, thank you for letting us come in here today on a race day like this. I know everyone's busy. We have some exciting news about the next step of Trackhouse Racing, and so we have with us the founder and owner, Justin Marks, and we have Shane Van Gisbergen, who after 12 months, we've all learned how to say his name correctly, which is fantastic. But I want to thank some of the folks from Chevrolet who are here, who've been really the cornerstone of this whole company. When we started this, one of the goals was to have a key partner and find the right key partner, and we have found that with Chevrolet, and it's their foundation of our company that helps us move into the direction that Justin's getting ready to tell you about. So, Justin, why don't you go ahead and make the announcement?
Yeah, it's a great day for the company. Obviously, being able to announce that we're expanding to a third full-time Cup Series entry in 2025. And most exciting thing for me about it is that we're able to announce that Shane Van Gisbergen is going to be the full-time driver in the Cup Series for us next year at Trackhouse as we expand from 2 cars to 3, and these moments are always special, especially since 48 months ago this was a Tennessee limited liability company with $500 in the bank and sort of an idea, and me and Ty trying to figure out how to do it. So for us to come in as a 1-car team in 2021, make the acquisition of Ganassi, expand to 2 teams, win 7 races in the next 2.5 years after that. And then, have some great partners come on and just sort of continue this amazing journey of building a great company here. This is obviously a huge moment. So, really thrilled and excited that Shane, put the trust in us and made a huge commitment in leaving a very successful career in Australia, New Zealand, and move to a new country and sort of start over and put his faith and his trust in us. Means a lot to us, and he's put in a tremendous amount of work. Great human being, very talented race car driver, and somebody with an incredibly bright future. So we're very excited to have him here. It's also kind of unique about this is that this is a neat moment for Project 91. I mean, Project 91 was a program to bring incredible talent from around the world to the NASCAR Cup Series and see if we could do something special with it. And obviously, with Shane going to Chicago and being the first winner in 60 years on debut in Project 91, and then make the move over, make the commitment to Xfinity Series this year and a bunch of Cup races, and then be able to turn that into a full-time Cup Series ride in 2025 is just a really cool moment in the story of Project 91. So we're very excited. We're thrilled that he's accepted the offer and made the commitment, and looking for big things in 2025. So over to you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, afternoon, everyone. It's been pretty awesome 18 months, I guess, now, and yeah, it's been a huge life change, as Justin said, and everything he said was going to happen has happened. So yeah, I'd never thought it would happen this quick, and I'm very glad we've done the learning year this year in Xfinity. Corlig Racing been great to work with, and then also a lot more races to finish the year now. But it's been a huge learning experience, but just excited to get full time in the Cup Series next year and working with Trackhouse, and how fun that's been this year, the way everyone goes racing, the attitude in the place, and it just resonates from the top with Justin and Ty, the leadership there. It's you just feel it through the place. It's a really cool team to be a part of, and hugely excited about it. Got a lot of work to do, and it's not going to be easy, that's for sure, but I'll keep pushing, and hopefully fit in pretty good next year. Can't wait.
Justin, just a couple of things that have come across in the last maybe even 30 days is talk a little bit about, as you look at Trackhouse Entertainment Group now, and you look at all the different regions of the world that are now represented under that banner.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely an element to the story here that's we take a lot of pride in. I mean, we're going to be full-time cup racing next year with 3 cars with drivers that are born in 3 different countries, which I think is a pretty amazing thing for this sport. It's an amazing thing for where motorsports is today, and we're thrilled and honored to be stewards of international diversity at the top level of motorsports. I mean, I've said this a couple of times now. With MotoGP and our MotoGP lineup next year and our Cup Series lineup next year, Trackhouse has a roster of athletes that represent Mexico, New Zealand, the USA, Spain, and Japan, which is a pretty incredible thing for a motorsports company, and we take a lot of pride in that. So we just continue to tell a great story. Try to get really great people in the house with diverse backgrounds, great stories to tell, compelling personalities, and at the end of the day, just really, really dedicated hard workers.
Yeah, Shane, for you, just coming over here and you're racing against people you've never met before. And I remember when we were in Chicago, you were trying to read the names on the back of the windows just to remember who you're trying to race in that corner. You talk about a year later, now that you've been around these guys and how much you've learned, and also some of the respect that you see between yourself and some of these other drivers.
It goes both ways. Didn't you have to Google me when Justin brought my name up? Yeah, it's
phonetically.
Yeah, it's a different world, and it's you're still car racing, but it's a completely different sport. And as I said, learning so much this year, and got 2 recent examples of people, I guess, come through. Marcus Ambrose and Juan Pablo, similar backgrounds, and Juan did 3 or 4 races in Xfinity and then full time into Cup, and Marcus took it the slow route. So we're kind of in between, and I think the way we've done this is the right way with all the processes. And even though the Xfinity car is very, very different to a Cup car, I think it was 100% worth it. Learning all the tracks, all the places, the terminology, metric versus imperial, that's been tough. But it is, it's a massive learning year. And but I just got to keep building on it and keep improving every week. And had a little kind of setback, I guess, in Xfinity, losing our crew chief. But, we've got to get that momentum built up. And I'm still fully focused on getting a great result in the playoffs and keeping that momentum into next year. So, it's pretty exciting times.
So one other element to this is, as you expand the team, you have to dig deep and start thinking about, well, what's going to be the number, and how do you take this into the next level and something of some relevance. And so I want Shane and Justin to go over here, and we're going to unveil the number. So any photographers around?
Let me just say one thing about that before we unveil the number. One of the things that's important for the numbers are important. Numbers are important. They're a big part of the branding in the sport. Numbers represent history, and they represent legions of fans and historic drivers and historic moments in the sport. And I think we don't take our number choices lightly. And when we chose the 99 car to begin with, there was a responsibility that came with that, and that's with wins with Carl Edwards and with Jeff Burton and with a lot of great drivers. Same thing with the 1 with Kurt Busch and Jamie McMurray and a bunch of drivers. And when we think about the numbers and we think about our history and the number, it's important for us to honor that history, and it's important for us to add to the winning legacy of that number, which we've done with the 1 and we've done with the 99, and we intend to do with the new one.
So here we go. For those who can't see it, it's the 88. That's for those of you in the press box. So, Justin, do you want to tell a little bit about the process of this? Having, wanting to do the right thing, talking to the Hendrick group, talking to Jeff Gordon, talking to the Earnhardts.
Yeah, I mean, when I called Carl Edwards when, in the end of 2020, and I said, we're starting this Cup team. We want to run the 99 number, and I want to, tell you that we're doing this, and obviously get your endorsement of it and get your support for it. And we did the same with the 1, and we've done it with the 88, and talking to the folks at Hendrick and to Dale Jr., who I was just texting an hour and a half ago, and it's important for us to have the endorsement. A great exchange with Dale Jr. saying, like, look, it's not my number. I mean, I added to the legacy of it. It's important to me personally, but he was proud to see it in good hands, and that's just something that's super important to me and to this company.
Yeah, I got a phone call from Jeff Gordon one day, and he says, "You talked to me about it, Marshall, about it. I know you talked to Dale Jr. Have you talked to Kelly yet? Kelly Earnhardt?" I went, No. And he goes, she's the boss. Call her now. And so I want to thank Dale Jr. and Kelly for letting us. And there's some amazing drivers attached to that number, and so it is a lot of responsibility, and we certainly accept that. So we're going to open it up to some questions here for the next 5 or 10 minutes. So we can start right here.
Greg Engel, Forbes. Too quick. What was the trigger that all of a sudden said we need to do this? Did you have a goal, like last year, and say, well, if we get to this certain point, we'll go to the third team? Or was there just a trigger that says, yeah, now this time's right?
Well, I've always thought that 3 teams is a really strong number of teams to have in this sport. I think that it just gives you 33% more of an opportunity on the racetrack every weekend, and frankly, it's 4-car teams are reserved for really, really, really big companies in this sport, and it's tough to make 4 cars work, and so I think 3 was kind of always sort of the number for us from day one. If things kind of went our way and we could grow from 1 car to 2, that 3 was kind of the goal. And then an opportunity came up to be able to expand to a 3rd car for this year, and so we took it.
Thank you. And Shane, for you, good on you. Now the pressure is because now you're there, right? This is what when you won back in Chicago, you said that this was your ultimate goal. Next year it's going to be you're a full-time Cup driver. Pressure. Do you feel pressure? Are you motivated, excited, happy, kind of anxious? What?
All of the above, yeah, but that's why we do it. I've learnt those feelings are good things because it means you care so much about it, right? So all this year I've been nervous getting in the car, anxious, how's it going to go, how am I going to be? And that's an awesome feeling and something I haven't had for a few years. So it's been really cool to be energized like that. And of course there's going to be pressure. The Cup Series is pretty cutthroat, as we've seen. A lot of guys, it's pretty hard to make it. So, yeah, I just got to keep learning, doing the best I can, and I'll be fine.
Thank
you. Yeah, one more element that is always important to a team is who's gonna lead it. And we're very, very fortunate to announce, and it's in the release as well, it's Stephen Doran, who's here today, is going to be the crew chief on the number 88 Trackhouse entry next year. Great history, champion in his own right. And when you walk into Daytona 500 and we come back here next year, we'll have 3 drivers starting that race who have won NASCAR Cup Series races. And so, you feel pretty good about your chances coming in. So we're going to go to Bob, who is raising his hand, then Jordan, and then back to Lee.
Bob Hockers, Fox Sports. First, Justin, can you confirm where you're getting the charter from?
What would you guess?
I would guess Stewart Haas Racing.
Probably not a bad answer.
Okay. And can you talk about the decision, or what was an easy decision? You had more drivers than you had spots, so you had to announce yesterday that you released Zane. So take me through maybe decision to keep Shane and.
Well, I think when we decide the drivers, it's a big picture, and we cast a wide net of sort of qualifications, and it's it's like. We just it's commercial support, it's fit in the company, it's personality, all of that, and it's. We don't have 4 cars. We have 3. So we have to make a decision. We're excited about the decision that we made with SVG.
So actually, Chris Knight has a question from the press box they asked me to read. So with all your endeavors and connections in other motorsports arena, is there a concentration on where you'll find the next driver to potentially bring to NASCAR?
Concentrate, like from I'm asking you, like you asked the question.
Let me rephrase it. With all of your experiences and all the things that you've created out across the world now, the net is extremely wide. Is there a target? I guess is the question that Chris is asking about where you look for drivers these days, not just in the Xfinity.
Yeah, I don't think we're in the driver looking business really right now for a while. I mean, we're excited with Ross, we're excited with Daniel, we're excited with SVG, really excited about re-signing Raul Fernandez and bringing the young Ai Ogura from Tokyo, Japan into the MotoGP thing. And then we've got an amazing talent who's going to be racing next year full-time in the Xfinity Series in Connor Zilic. So we've got, I think we're in a pretty good spot right now. I mean, I think we, as the business expands and, we're able to expand to the 3rd team and have these opportunities, obviously it was important to make sure we put an emphasis on putting ourselves in the best position to get the best talent in the house. So I think that we've done that, and now we can focus on what we've got and try to go win races.
All right, Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. Kind of following up on Bob's question, can you give a a number, an exact number, or at least a ballpark number on what you paid for the charter?
No.
And incurring negotiations with the charter agreement and everything, there's been some debate on whether to continue to invest in teams. Why acquire a third charter why not wait to acquire until third charter until the negotiations are finalized?
Well, because I don't really have any stress at all about the fact that the charter system is going to continue. I mean, I don't really think that that's a risk. And when there's an opportunity, to make a move and to expand, and we had a lot of great commercial support around this program that we'll announce later on this season. I mean, there's just a lot of things falling in line. We had to take advantage of that opportunity when it was here and before we lost it. So it wasn't really that difficult of a decision. I mean, the charter negotiations will continue. Those conversations will continue to happen. I think the charter system's been good for the sport. I think NASCAR will tell you the same thing. We don't really have any stress about that system continuing.
Hey, Justin, Chris Gallen with News Daytona Beach. So I have a little bit of a two-part question. Number one, the news came out yesterday that Zane Smith and Trackhouse are parting ways. So I'd want to ask, for one, did this come down to a Zane or Shane decision? No pun intended. And number two, if it didn't, I was wondering if you could describe what made you pick Shane for this seat over some other, drivers who I'm sure were in consideration that, maybe had a little bit more experience in NASCAR specifically.
Yeah, the way I'll answer this is that this moment right now is about Shane Van Gisbergen. This is an SVG moment. I'm going to keep it an SVG moment. I will tell you that the reason that we chose to go with Shane for this third car is that there's not a lot of experience in the Cup Series. There's some unknowns. Going to be a lot of hard work. But, Shane checks a lot of boxes, I think, for a really, really compelling story and building a great business in this sport. And it's the fact that, he's incredibly talented. He's incredibly dedicated. There's a reason why he was the first one to win on debut since Johnny Rutherford in 1963. That's a big thing. And, for him to be able to, obviously the Chicago street race is kind of in his wheelhouse, but I mean, the rate of adaptability of everything else, just the competition, the restarts, the pit stops, the way he prepared for that race, is like, man, this is a superstar, and this is somebody that we were really excited about committing to, knowing that it's relatively unconventional path to a Cup car. But we wouldn't be doing it if we didn't think this guy could win lots and lots of Cup races and be a playoff contender. So, it was honestly a pretty easy decision because he just checked a lot of boxes for us, and everybody in the company is really excited about it.
Good. Lee, do you still need anything?
Shane, what has been the hardest part about your learning curve, just trying to get up to speed? I mean, you come out and, in your debut win, and, you think it's all going to be pie in the sky after that. But what has really, challenged you along the way?
Turning left. Yeah, it's just there's so many variables in this racing. You see even Kyle Larson, who's the best driver, he's first one week, 20th the next. There's so many variables that make the sport a thing. Like I'm used to being on one line, the repetition the whole time, and just hitting my marks, where the race can change so much over the course of the day. When the weather changes, the rubber goes down, or even the super speedway racing is completely different. So probably just the amount of variables in this racing, and you can prep all you want, but it's having those instincts to adapt and learning how best to do it. So every race I'm learning something, and I seem to always start the races quite slow, and by stage 3 I'm on the pace kind of thing. So yeah, just every week. And this time of year, going back to tracks I've been to before, hopefully I can show that improvement and keep getting better. But yeah, as I said, every week I'm like a sponge trying to learn stuff and get better and better.
And do you expect to run any Xfinity races next year?
Yeah, I'd hope so. Like, obviously there'll be, speaking with Chris and the Corlig team, there's opportunities to do the road courses, but, for me, that's easy stuff. I want to do more ovals with them and learn in both ways. So, yeah, hopefully we'll race with them next year and win some road courses, but hopefully they'll let me do some ovals too, and I can keep getting more experience.
We have time for one more, and go ahead and answer. This question was right here. Sorry, Dustin, we were down to one, so. And he's been right here. Mike's right here.
Zach Sterniolo at NASCAR.com. Justin, for you, Project 91, you mentioned the importance of that kind of right off the top. Do you anticipate that continuing moving forward with a full three-car roster, or do you feel like that stretches the team too thin?
Well, we're having those discussions right now. I mean, I think that Project 91 is something that 100% in my mind I'd love to continue. I mean, it's difficult to do it this year because we have so much on our plate with, sort of supporting other drivers and other programs and, and just a lot of sort of business development stuff that we're working on. But I would expect Project 91 to be back sooner rather than later. I think that obviously it has to fit in the workflow of the company. I mean, like, we're expanding, our focus is on running 3 competitive Cup cars next year. But there's a lot of interest in Project 91, both from drivers and from commercial partners. So yeah, I would 100% anticipate that to continue in some capacity.
So the great thing about doing this stuff on race day is so many of you are here and a lot of attention. However, there's also a lot of other work. So we're going to cut it off here. Both these guys are going to head right back into the garage. We have a lot of partners here, which is really the fuel behind this company. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Thanks for the questions, and we'll see you guys again soon.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks. Oh, I saw the truck going around. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I wonder if Pat's there from WeatherTech. I wonder if that's him in the Hamlin thing that went through. He's got a Hamlin car.